What's up, everybody? We are back. We are here on a Wednesday evening hump day. And we got a fun one for y'all tonight. Oh, yeah. Big reveals about the inner workings and what's been happening behind the scenes at Lucasfilm and Disney. So you know what to do now, don't you? And if you're new, I'm about to tell you. Here's what you do. You fill your cup and you light your smoke. And then you lean back, relax. You know why? Because it's time to get nerdy. Well, hello, everybody. Welcome back to the basement. We are finally back. Had a bit of a break, but it was a necessity because it was Mrs. Jones' birthday. And I love you guys, but she is way more important than you. It's just a fact. Deal with it. How's everyone doing, though? Are you happy to be back? I'm happy to be back. It is good to see y'all in my chat. Spicy Dan and Brooke up in this bitch. Brooke already dropping the Discord link. Thank you, sir. Thank you very kindly. So welcome, one and all, to the basement, where we have a bit of a fun stream, I do believe, this evening. I would greatly appreciate it if everyone would hit that there like button. And if you're new, or if you've been hanging but haven't yet made the leap, as it were, please hit that subscribe button and hit the bell. It helps out the channel, and it makes me smile. Oh, yeah, that's right. You're back from New York. How was New York, Brooke? How was the Big Apple? You dropped your spicy Dan. I dropped my hottest hot sauce yet this week. Fury of the Gods. Well, I love that name, I'll tell you that. That name is dope. Well done on that one, sir. Yes, Gen V did have its finale drop. We will probably be watching it tomorrow together. And I say probably because here's what's happening. Yeah, there's enough people here. All right, so here's what is going on. I know I haven't streamed in almost a week. However, this is still going to be this is going to be a shorter stream. Stay with me. There's a really, really good reason. This is going to be a shorter stream. I'm only talking about one thing. Hello, my secret place. Welcome. Hit the like, hit the subscribe, hit the bell, pretty please. Thank you. We're talking about one thing and one thing only tonight. And I'm keeping the stream short. And this is why. At literally any minute, my daughter could go into labor to deliver the granddaughter that we've all been waiting for. Her due date was last Friday. But there have been some encouraging signs today that things are finally moving the way they should be moving, even though it's still much slower than all of us would like, and especially my daughter. She's ready. What up, Griff? What up, C-Dub? Thank you, Brooke. So, yeah, like, it could very well be the case that I could be in the middle of a sentence and be like, oh, baby, and then, like, hit end stream and dip. There is a chance of that even happening. So, I figure we'll kind of take the best of both worlds. I will still stream, but I'll keep it short just in case. Yeah. But what's up with you guys? Brooke just got back from across the country, literally. Seattle to New York. Upstate New York, no less. Excuse me. So what's been happening with y'all since last Thursday? Anything good? Hopefully nothing shitty. Anything exciting? Icarus, what's up, man? How you doing, bro? How are things in the EU? How are things in Deutschland? Did you know that, babe? Icarus actually lives in Germany. Yeah, I think. Pretty sure. I know he posts on Twitter regularly in German. Are you actually in Germany, Icarus, or are you just a German immigrant or what have you, or first generation German American? Like, what's the story? I'm sorry if you told me and I forgot. Please forgive me, and also tell me again. Please and thank you. I wanna know. Yeah, I fucking went there. How many of you even recognize that just from that one line? I'll give you a hint. It was in the early aughts, if I remember right. A German in Germany. Okay, cool. So I was right. All right. Yay. So yeah. Well, now that I have that information, doing German things. I could so drop like all kinds of stereotypical shit, but I won't. And I wouldn't even have to reference the 30s and 40s. I can just, mock Lederhosen. Except I won't because Lederhosen is dope. I should have some Lederhosen. I'm mostly German, of German descent. Plenty of German on both sides of my family. I have a fair chunk of the German in my blood. I mean, when have Germans not like fucking the Polish? You blame that Austrian. You mean the Arnold? You blame Arnold? Get in the chopper! I think most Americans are German descent, says Brooke. German, English, Scottish, French, etc. Just, dude, we're white European crackers. That's all there is to it. Me, I'm mostly German, but there's some I'll be back. There's some yeah, there's some British Isles shit in there. Scotch, Irish, English. Someone snuck some French Canadian in there too on me, and I don't appreciate that shit. I don't know who the fuck did it, but I don't like it. With cheese, yes, Royale, Royale with cheese. No quarter pounders in that motherfucker. Mm-mm. Or actually, I should say it like Travolta said it. Royale with cheese. The Royale with cheese. Yep, exactly. My digression stick. I'm sure you can figure it out. All right. Do we want to just get into this chat? Let's get into this shit. Like I said, I have to be ready to dip out at any minute for granddaughter. So let us jump right on in. So early this week, Monday specifically, an article came out from the AP. They were interviewing Adam Driver, who's been in a lot of movies, but for us nerds, we know him best as Kylo Ren / Ben Solo. Right? That's how most of us know Adam Driver. I mean, if we watch, other stuff, he's been in other stuff. But, Star Wars is a thing. It's in the shitter, but it's still a thing, and that's probably his best known, set of projects is the equals. So, AP was doing an interview about something else that he's doing. Or did he just interview him? Anyway, so they did an interview with Adam Driver, and of course, because Kylo press with it. So of course, because Kylo Ren, as I said, and as we all know, was his biggest role to date. Of course, he was asked about Star Wars, and his response to being asked about Star Wars. He's in 65. Oh yeah, I heard of that. I heard of that. Was that any good? Also, oh, Ariana Greenblatt's in that. She's cool. Oh, shut up, Spicy Dan. Also, that's fucking funny. Um, I'll give you credit for funny, but also stop it. Anyway, so his answer to the Star Wars question caused a bit of a kerfluffle on Monday. Here's what he said. I was always interested in doing another Star Wars, says Driver, who starred as Kylo Ren in the trilogy kicked off by The Force Awakens. I have been talking about doing another one since 2021. Okay, so that's 2 years after Rise of Skywalker comes out. Kathleen Kennedy had reached out. Okay, I always said with a great director and a great story, I'd be there in a second. I loved that character and loved playing him. Driver says he took a concept to Soderbergh. That would be Steven Soderbergh, writer, director, producer. I don't know his filmography, but I know the name. I know he's been around a long time, and I know he's good. For a film that would take place after 2019's The Rise of Skywalker. That movie culminated in Ren's redemption and apparent death. Driver, this part's fun too. Driver had undertaken the trilogy with an arc in mind for Ren that inverted the journey of Darth Vader. So, I can't remember what I was watching. Could have been Josh, could have been somebody else. But someone played a clip about what Driver was talking about there with the inverted journey of Darth Vader. So what Driver was saying about that is he said, this is so far as the original trilogy goes. Vader started confident, said something or other in the middle, and then it said Vader ended up vulnerable at the end when he turned back to the light side and, took his helmet off and I love you, son, and all that good shit, right? So when he's talking about an inverted journey of Vader, what up, Brandon? He's talking about starting off vulnerable and kind of weak and a little bit broken, and as the sequel trilogy went along, he would become more confident and increase in power and knowledge and ability in the dark side, so that by the end of Rise, or whatever they would have named the third movie in the trilogy if they'd have gone this route, he would have been basically in full dark side flower. Thank you, Griff. First of all, let's just talk about that reverse arc for a second. I fucking love that idea, yo. That's such a great idea. I love it. Him just being full on badass by the end of Rise instead of. And I love Ian McDiarmid, and I love the character of Palpatine, and I was fanboying like a motherfucker when that first came out because I was like, Palpatine! And I didn't really think about, like, the how or the why or the consequences of them trying to do that shit until later. Yeah. So, if they'd have done that, what he was talking about with the reverse Vader arc, they probably wouldn't have even gone the Palpatine route. They wouldn't have needed to. They would have had a descendant, a blood descendant, an actual Skywalker coming into his full powers, but on the dark side of the Force. That would have been fucking dope. That would have been seriously dope. What do you guys think? First of all, just that piece. What do you think? What do you think about the idea of that arc? And would you have liked to have seen it play out on screen instead of what we got? Ah, that sucks, C-Dub. Freaking working late. That blows. What do you all think about that idea for the reverse Vader arc? curious. Do you like it? Do you not like it? Do you not give two shits? I mean, all valid responses. I'm just wondering what yours are. I feel like Starkiller from Force Unleashed was raised as a Sith apprentice by Vader, but always felt the pull to the light. This is kind of similar to what Ren's arc could have been. Somewhat similar, yeah. Except he would have gotten rid of the pull to the light and just gone full dark side. And unlike Grandpa, he has all his parts to, channel dark side force powers through. He's got all his midichlorians because he wasn't stumped. Yeah. Yep. That's how you know Obi-Wan Kenobi was better at trivia than Anakin. Because Obi-Wan stumped him. That's right. And you know what? I'll probably tell it again in a couple weeks. Yeah. Yeah, I will. Yeah, reverse Vader arc sounds fucking cool. Now, of course, while the idea is cool, in my opinion, it, as per usual, it would have remained to see how said idea was executed. Because, let's face it, that's an idea that can also go very badly, very quickly. So, but yes, the concept, chill and dig it. Moving on, though. As the trilogy evolved, it didn't play out that way. Yeah, no shit. Driver felt there was unfinished business for Kylo Ren, or, as he was known before turning to the dark side, Ben Solo. Soderbergh and Rebecca Blunt outlined a story that the group then pitched to Kennedy, Lucasfilm Vice President Carrie Beck, and Lucasfilm Chief Creative Officer Dave Filoni. Was he Chief Creative Officer? When did Filoni get promoted? Iger turned down Adam Driver and Soderbergh, but greenlit it. Well, it's not that Iger specifically greenlit Acolyte. He just didn't give two shits. But yeah, that budget does like where was I? Oh yeah. But yeah, had Filoni gotten the CCO promotion by the time this happened in 21? Thought that was more recent. Anyway, they were interested, so the filmmakers then pulled in Scott Z. Burns to write a script. Driver calls the result one of the coolest expletive scripts I had ever been a part of. I'm guessing he dropped an F-bomb there. We presented the script to Lucasfilm. They loved the idea. They totally understood our angle and why we were doing it, Driver says. We took it to Bob Iger and Alan Bergman, and they said no. They didn't see how Ben Solo was alive, and that was that. It was called The Hunt for Ben Solo, and it was really cool, but it is no more, so I can finally talk about it. Soderbergh, in a statement, said, so he's joining the party. I really enjoyed making the movie in my head. I'm just sorry the fans won't get to see it. Representatives for Disneyland define comment, period transition, blah, blah, blah. Okay, so Adam Driver's worked with Soderbergh before. Okay, so here's more points in favor of this. We wanted to be judicial about how to spend money and be economical with it and do it for less than most, but in the same spirit of what those movies are, which is handmade and character-driven. Driver says, Empire Strikes Back being, in my opinion, the standard of what those movies were. But he is, to me, one of my favorite directors of all time. He lives his code, lives his ethics, and doesn't compromise. Yeah. So, that caused a bit of a kerfluffle on the interwebs. As you can imagine, there were many reactions. Some positive, Some didn't give a shit. A lot of people like, wait, what the fuck? Why would Iger kill that? Kylo Ren was the most popular character from that trilogy, with the Sultan of Sexy Babu Frick being a close second, at least for me. Um, so that in and of itself makes a lot of sense, and it's Star Wars. If Maul can come back from being cut in half, if Anakin can survive having his form reduced by roughly 45%, um, there's a way. There are ways they could have brought Ben Solo back. Um, I mean, don't ask me. I just know it can be done by creative people. So yeah, that right there is like, Bob, what the fuck? You're really saying no to this because you don't see how Ben Solo could be alive? That's like the justification for her to say no. I mean, you had Soderbergh. I don't know who's the guy that wrote this. Scott Z. Burns. See if Mr. Burns' resume makes this even more of a stupid ass decision. Okay. He has written. Oh no, that's producer. He wrote PU 239. Don't know what that is. He wrote The Bourne Ultimatum, The Informant, Contagion, Side Effects, Last Days. Was an uncredited writer on Rogue One, The Mercy, The Report, The Laundromat, and an uncredited writer on No Time to Die. And he's got some TV stuff. So he's got a pretty decent resume, actually. So yeah, another what the fuck, Bob Iger, what are you thinking kind of thing. And then this paragraph: we wanted to be judicial about how to spend money and be economical with it, and do it for less than most. Yes, there's more there, but where the fuck was I? God damn it. I hate it when I do this. Yeah, so, yes, there's more he said, but that's the only important part, at least so far in making a pitch to an executive. Yeah, so I want to make this cool story. I have this dope ass director that wants to direct it, and oh, by the way, I want to make it cheaper. I don't want to spend a shit ton of money on this movie. And Iger's like, I don't see how he's alive. No. So, first of all, what the fuck? Why are you being such a moron, Bob? Why? Why? Why would you do such a thing? At least for that stupid ass justification, when you have the guy that was your most popular character in the sequel trilogy, bringing in a high caliber director in Steven Soderbergh. And then he wanted to make it for less money than what they'd been spending. Yeah, but they don't make a lot of sense. It definitely does not make a lot of sense whatsoever. And that was what a lot of other people thought too. And then Tuesday comes. Well, C-Dub, the only thing I can think of when it comes to why Iger didn't really do anything about the Acolyte, at least to begin with, is because it was a Disney Plus show and not a movie. So he probably wasn't paying that close of attention until he got the report about the viewership absolutely fucking nosediving after The Power of Many. So when he got that report, he was like, wait a minute, what the fuck? And then when he got the budget report, he was like, wait a fucking minute. And then his buddy Alan Bergman is the one I just saw. There's a report today that Bergman was the one who canceled season 2 of The Acolyte. Which, if you'll recall, when that was canceled, I said that there's no way that decision came from KK and that it had to come from above. Well, it came from above, all right. It came from Bob Iger's right-hand man. So, yeah, I imagine he didn't give two shits about the Acolyte till he got the negative reports. Oh, hey, Randon. You subbed with the second account? Well, thank you. We should try and do a stream together sometime. Sure. What time zone are you in? Nice. What time zone are you in, bro? We can work it out. Oh, I mean, if Josh's sources right there are plenty of reasons as to why he didn't do that shit. You're in Central Time? Okay, so you're only an hour behind me. Randon is a bot. A dirty little bot. Giggity, 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 goo. Spicy Dan. Yeah. I live in the mitten. Oops. I live in the mitten. Right about, let's see, so Detroit's like right here across from Canada. So I'm like right about there. Yeah, because that's a movie. Ben Solo died in episode 9. And there are more reasons. There are more reasons, again, if Josh is right, as to, or more evidence that Iger is much more movie-centric thinking. Unless he has a reason not to be. Matter of fact, as we know from history, pushing Disney Plus and not just leaving it a nice little vault for $8 a month and instead trying to compete with Netflix. He's the one that started the orders for Marvel and Star Wars to start putting out shows. Give me lots and lots of shows. And his successor, Chapek, continued that and even ramped it up more. Well, he didn't greenlight Leslie. KK greenlit Leslie, which is why she's still somewhat culpable. But we'll get to that. Acolyte's budget was like 230 to 250. I don't remember the exact number, but it was over 200. Somewhere in there. So yeah. The overstuffing of Disney Plus started with Iger, was continued by Chapek, and then when it got fucking way out of hand, Iger came back to protect his legacy, aka Disney Plus. and then started doing more shit. Like, you haven't seen shit past Mando season 2 besides Ahsoka. You're not missing much. I mean, there are some diamonds in that rough. Like, for example, Tales of the Jedi is fucking awesome. Tales of the Empire, fucking not. That one was ass. Tales of the Bounty Hunters was cool. It can't be both ways. What are you talking about? Two things can be true at the same time. Iger could be very movie centric and just be like, hey, pump out a lot of shit for this. Because Disney Plus was his baby. He's the one that got it going. And that's what he came back to protect. And then realized it was a much bigger shit show than he thought. Bad Batch? I like Bad Batch. Yep. All right. So, that started a kerfluffle. And then yesterday, Papa Josh, our guy there over at the Den of Nerds, yeah, Iger didn't greenlight act like KK did. KK greenlit this project, but Iger didn't. Yep. What up, Brennan? Yeah, because Iger only really cared about the movies until Disney Plus started tanking everything. Then he started caring about Disney Plus. And it was his buddy Bergman that killed The Acolyte after viewership tanked and they found out how much they spent on that bitch. Believe me, if the viewership hadn't tanked, we would have gotten a season 2. They wouldn't have cared about the money because they didn't give a shit about Andor's money. So there's plenty of evidence that Iger only cares about what's spent when shit fails. Or if it's a movie that he thinks will fail. And again, if Josh's sources do you believe, there's other shit too. I watched the clip and made a list. Okay, so the sins of Bob Iger, according to Josh's source. And as Josh said, and as I will go ahead and put out there, this is the same source that gave him all the leaks that he put out a few months ago and were proved true about Ahsoka, mall show, all that kind of shit. Those are the specific ones I can remember recently. I don't remember what else Josh has confirmed that has come true from this source, but the source nailed that shit, and Josh says this has been his best source for a long time. Which, in my mind, at least makes him somewhat credible. Easier to believe than others. So, according to the source, the reason for Bob Iger's behavior, or one of the reasons, one of the big reasons, is that he actually does not like George Lucas. He does not like Anakin Skywalker, and he does not like the prequels. Now, there are excerpts out there from a book he wrote that pretty much back that up, show how cold and calculating and manipulative and really just kind of a butthole that Bob Iger actually is. And it does go a long way to explaining some of his alleged, I should say, behavior. These are the examples that Josh was willing to provide from his source. I mean, I'm pretty sure he held back some shit too. So, again, first, he doesn't even like George or Anakin or the prequels. Now remember this. Remember, he doesn't like George. Keep that in the back of your mind. We're going to assume that is fact right now. That's the whole purpose of going over stuff from sources and rumors and leaks and all that kind of shit. Because how much of a conversation can you have? That's bullshit. Move on. That's no fun. So we're going to go. We're going to go with it for now. He killed the Clone Wars. Remember, he doesn't like George. And he doesn't like the prequels. And he doesn't like Anakin. The Clone Wars is a big old pile of all of that. Like, for real. It's set between episodes 2 and 3. And, of course, it's about Anakin. Other people, too. But, you know. It's about Anakin. So he said, nope. All done. Evidently, and here's where it really starts to get weird compared to what we supposedly thought we knew. KK fought for Clone Wars. KK had plans to just continue it and let Dave keep running with it. Okay. So they managed to get one last season out of Bob. They wanted to do 16 episodes. He allowed 12. And we got what we got. Which was overall a really good final season. I mean, the Ahsoka and Mechanics arc is high. But overall, damn fine season 7. Another project he killed would be an adaptation of the Dark Horse comics Son of Dathomir. Now, I forgot to write down whether that was going to be live action or animated, but who the fuck cares? It was going to be dope. It was going to be Maul, and it was going to be a Dark Horse comic interpretation. And as we all know, obviously there are exceptions to everything, but Dark Horse Comics puts out some dope shit. Like, this is a known fact, far and wide, amongst the nerd community. Dark Horse Comics are fucking dope. And Lucasfilm wanted to adapt it. And Iger said no. Y'all remember the Kenobi show? You guys remember when the guy that wrote the script for the Obi-Wan Kenobi movie came out with what he was going to do with it? And you guys remember what we got? We got Joby Harold, and we got hiding Leia under a trench coat. We got Reva, who, by the way, in the script, the movie script, was dope. I don't know if y'all knew that, but yeah. Evidently, in the script, Reva was actually cool. And, like, an organic part of the story. But instead, we got the show. And the reason we got the show and not the movie, Bob Iger. When it comes to the rise of Skywalker, it was Bob's decision to bring JJ back. Yeah, the Kenobi movie would have been good. Like, it was much more Obi-Wan / Anakin Vader centric. Reva was in it, but she was written much better. So, in the movie script, I don't know. I haven't read the entire script. I just know she was written much better and like way cooler. There's a video on it somewhere. I think on Theory's channel. It definitely wasn't organic in the show. But in the script, she was. She was in there, but nowhere near as. What's the phrase I want? Oh, yeah. Nowhere near as much in the foreground. The movie was much more about Obi-Wan and Vader. And then she was in it. Kind of like, what's a good example? Empire Strikes Back. Like, that was about Luke and Vader. But then, you had Admiral Piet. Of course, he got killed. And then the dude that took over. So, you had people in the Empire that were, there and played a role, some more significant than others. But yeah, that would have been about the that's kind of similar to Reva's role in the movie. But Iger killed the movie again because he wanted shit on Disney Plus. Because Disney Plus is his baby. And he wanted to compete with Netflix. So he turned the Kenobi movie, which was a much better written project, and told Lucasfilm to make it a show. And then they hired Joby Harold. And we got what we got. Now, let's see. Yes, Rise of Skywalker. He's the one that brought JJ back. Now, I can't 100% blame him for that one. Because, Rian Johnson, that kind of thing. But he brought JJ back, and he would not delay the movie, even though they were kind of running behind and shit was getting really messy. But he said, nope. Do what you have to do to get it out on time. And that was that. Now, as for the sequel trilogy itself, and here's where it starts getting really weird, and like, if we believe it, it's going to force us to completely rethink years of opinions. Literal years. Close to a decade. Of opinions. But according to Josh's source, KK did want Rey, but she wanted to partner her with Luke, and she wanted Luke to be a hell of a lot closer to Legends Luke than Jake Skywalker. Like, she wanted to keep Luke alive and have him like legitimately mentor and train Rey. I mean, and then do like a proper pass of the lightsaber, I guess, by the time by the end of episode 9, right? But, and remember, Iger doesn't like George. Iger doesn't like Anakin. Iger doesn't like the prequels. Iger doesn't like George's shit at all. Iger was like, no. We are going to marginalize the legacy characters, and we are going to go forward with our vision for Star Wars. Does Bob even like Star Wars? Not George's version. I think he likes the concept of it. He definitely likes the merchandise ability of it, because as we all know, Star Wars merch sells like hotcakes. Even today, Star Wars merch sells really well. Sequel merch doesn't sell very well. Like, I can't tell you how many times, and you guys know I DoorDash, right? Most of you at least know that I DoorDash as a side hustle. Well, I'll tell you, when I go into stores, because we do what we call shop and deliver, I'll actually go into a store and shop and then go deliver it. When I go into stores, department stores, grocery stores, what have you, when I see people with Star Wars gear on, I don't see sequel shit ever. All I see is Lucas t-shirts, Lucas character t-shirts, Lucas era characters, stickers, all of that shit. Lucas shit sells. Sequel shit really doesn't, but that doesn't matter to Iger because he gets the money from all of it. So they're still making lots of Star Wars bank off the merch. Do I see prequel stuff? Some. It's mostly OT, honestly. But yeah, I see some Mace stuff here and there, Mace Windu stuff. But yeah, it's mostly OT. And very, very little is sequel. And I'm talking about just what I see on people. When I go, if I have to walk by a toy department, if there's sequel shit there, that's what the most of is on the that stuff is what's filling the shelf. And next to it is Lucas era Star Wars stuff, and there's barely any there. But again, Disney be getting that Lucas era Star Wars merch dough. So they really have no reason to care if the sequel shit sells that well or not. Because they're still getting plenty of bank off of this stuff. So, yeah, KK actually wanted Rey. There's no doubt about that she wanted Rey. She always did want Rey. But according to Josh's source, she actually wanted to do her correctly. And she wanted Luke to hang out. She wanted Luke to live. I know. It makes the brain melt. It really makes the brain melt. So yeah, that was Iger. Let's not go that far, Splicey Dan, and I will explain why when I'm done delineating the Palpatine-ness of one Bob Iger. Oh, yeah. George's sequel trilogy treatments. KK had every intention of actually making those or adapting them in some fashion, maybe not making them exactly, but she was going to use those for her baseline. Iger bought Lucasfilm, and I believe when someone was talking about an excerpt from his book, Iger basically was bragging about the fact that he made sure in the purchase agreement that he would not be obligated to use George's sequel trilogy treatments. He made sure he would not be contractually obligated to use those. And that's exactly what he did not do. Purchase was done, paperwork signed, he took George's treatments and shit canned them. And then, now this wasn't specifically brought up by Josh's source, but, if you connect the dots, this makes sense too. Do you guys remember how the original guy that they hired to do the sequel trilogy, since they weren't using George's treatments, He had to come up with his own shit. You guys remember hearing that guy was like, okay, well, in order to do this right, I'm going to need a few years. And next thing you know, he gone, JJ in, and they are pumping the sequels out. Not worrying about putting together a cohesive story. Just getting a Star Wars movies in the theater. Now, work for Force Awakens. That motherfucker made over $2 billion, if I recall correctly. But, now, there is automatically, generally in trilogies, the law of diminishing returns. But from Force Awakens to The Last Jedi, there was a pretty big drop-off in ticket sales and global box office. I don't remember exactly what it was, but it wasn't small. And then, between The Last Jedi and Rise, they lost again about half of the audience and a fair chunk of the box office. Because we all remember how much people hated The Last Jedi because of the way they treated Luke, making him Jake Skywalker and kind of a bitch. Bob Iger. You don't like George. You don't want to do anything to honor George. Give me Jake Skywalker, said Bob Iger. Yeah. But wait, there's more. Oh, yeah. I don't I don't know, Icarus. I don't remember if we covered this one. I went kind of out of order on my list because I realized my list was out of order. Yeah, so I was trying to fix it on the fly, and I may or may not have fucked it up. My apologies if I already talked about this. Mando and Grogu movie. Mando and Grogu movie. Why did Mando season 4 become a movie? Bob Iger. Bob Iger's like, it's been 6 years since we've had a Star Wars movie in here. Nothing is fucking ready right now. We have nice put together scripts for season 4 of Mando and Grogu. Condense it and give me a fucking movie. We need a movie. Now, while that idea sucks balls, here is where Kathy starts keeping some of her culpability because she couldn't get a fucking movie off the ground. Right? She couldn't get a fucking movie off the ground. Not one movie that she's announced has hit a theater. What up, Darth Lance? Not one. Until, well, The Last Starfighter was announced, but that wasn't until after they already had the gas and shit. So, yeah, none of the movies that KK announced around, probably it'd be either 2021 or 2023 D20, or no, Celebration. It had to be the 21 one. Was it 21 when she brought Daisy out on stage? 21, 22, something like that? And announced the Charmin Obaid Chinoy movie. And the Mangold movie. And the Filoni movie. You remember? What was that? 21, 22, somewhere in there? None of them in production. None of them have come to fruition. What we are getting is Sean Levy's movie is going. Starfighter. We'll see how that goes. That's in production. But Iger wanted a movie now, just like he wanted Rise of Skywalker now and wouldn't delay it beyond the date. He wanted a movie now. So he said, hey, yo, take those completed season 4 Mando scripts, Make them a movie. And that's what we're getting May of next year. We are getting a season of a TV show condensed into a movie, which is pretty much on the same level of stupid, but just the reverse of what they did with the Kenobi. They took a movie, chopped it up, and made it a show. Actually, Marvel did a lot of that too. They tried to make shows into chopped up movies. It's a bad way to make television. Right? That's just a bad way to make television. Well, guess what a bad way to make a movie is? The opposite. Taking a TV script and chopping it up and cramming it into a movie. Two sides of the same coin. Yep. I can't remember if I brought that up, but if I did, my bad. There it is again. Okay, now here are the ones outside of the treatment of the legacy characters that really make me mad. Oh, yeah. Yeah, pretty much all this shit applies to shitty treatment of legacy characters. By a show of ones in the chat, how many of you have read the Darth Bane trilogy? I have, multiple times. How many of you have read the Darth Bane novels? The trilogy. By a show of ones. Do you have to endure Mando season 3 before the movie? I don't know. Maybe. I imagine they are going to reference it in some fashion since this is season 4 crammed into a movie. I imagine there's some shit in there that's going to reference season 3. Hopefully they don't reference Jack Black and Lizzo. You haven't, but Craving 2, you should be Craving 2 Darth Lance. Those are magnificent books. At least in my opinion. And I only say that because, again, I've read them multiple times. Kind of want to read them again now we're talking about it. Anyway. So, some of you are familiar with the Darth Bane novels. And again, let me just state they're fucking awesome. Darth Bane is an awesome character. The story's written really well. They're really, really, really good fucking books. And Lucasfilm wanted to make a trilogy of movies about them. Let me repeat that. Lucasfilm wanted to make a Bane trilogy of cinematic features. And when I say Lucasfilm, I'm talking about post-purchase Lucasfilm under KK. There read any Legends material? Oh, that's where most of the juice is at. There's a couple under Disney novels that are pretty decent. Not many. But yeah, Legends is where the juice is at. Yeah. Yes, Disney Lucasfilm. Yep. Believe it or not, Kathleen Kennedy wanted to do a Darth Bane cinematic trilogy, or at least Dave did, and she wasn't going to stop him. But guess who did? Bob Iger. If you're angry about Bob Iger, hit the like button if you haven't already. And if you think he's a piece of shit, hit the subscribe button and the notification bell if you haven't done that before either. Yeah. So yeah. We missed out on a trilogy cinematic about Darth Bane. Because Bob said no. no, I'm sorry. Is it the Bane trilogy? Am I mixing things up? Is either a trilogy or no? This is a Bane series. They were going to make a show. Anyway, there's a Darth Bane fucking project, and Bob said no. That's all that really matters. Kathleen actually wanted to use Bane in a much more significant way than they did in Rebels. Like they wanted to do Bane. They want pause. Like they wanted to get into that. Like they wanted to fucking make some Bane content. And Iger said no. And the last little tidbit that Josh shared from his source. Any fans of the Old Republic, KOTOR, that kind of thing? Y'all like that era of Star Wars? An era fleshed out by video games and EU novels. The era of Darth Revan, or Revan in general, because he was a team switcher. Revan's fucking dope. But yeah, y'all like the Old Republic? Kathleen wanted to do an Old Republic trilogy. Don't know if it was going to be about Revan or whatever, but she wanted to do a trilogy set in the Old Republic era. And Bob said no. Yep. That's okay, Brennan. You can just, trust me on this. It's dope. And it's a bad, bad, bad thing that Bob Iger did this shit. So, yeah, that's a big pile of shit to think about. Like, a lot of these decisions, the disrespect to the legacy characters, which is the biggest part of it all. And then just the killing of other cool shit like Bane content and Old Republic content. Forcing a Mando Grogu movie. Making Kenobi be a show, but that falls under disrespect to the legacy characters. All the shit that happened to the legacy characters in the sequel. It all comes down to Bob Iger. It was Iger all along. So if all of this is true, and again, we're, for the purposes of this stream, this discussion, we're treating it as true. If all of this is true, Bob Iger is the biggest reason that Star Wars is in the shitter. And it would seem, if all this is true, imagine if we just got air to the... I know! This also means a great many people, including myself, have been talking a ton of shit about Kathleen Kennedy, dropping piles of poop upon her the size of skyscrapers. And it would appear that a lot of that was unearned. I say a lot. I do not say all. She is still culpable. She is still an accomplice, as it were. Because while Iger made a lot of those very stupid, uncool, shitty ass decisions, he didn't make all the dumb, stupid, not cool, shitty ass decisions. Not all of them. KK's still responsible for some of them. She's still responsible for the acolyte. She's still responsible for going through writers and directors like socks, or firing directors because of how they fold their socks. She is the one that couldn't get a fucking movie off the ground. Took so long to get a movie off the ground that Iger is forcing Mando and Grogu on us. That's her. She did not have to take Iger's rejection of the legacy characters. She did not have to take that and run with it as hard as she did. Right? She didn't have to go as hard. That's on her. She is not blameless by any stretch of the imagination. It just appears that she is nowhere near as much to blame as we thought. Yeah. She is not getting a pass. She hasn't earned a full pass. Under no circumstances does this mean she is no longer to be held accountable at all. That is also just as big a pile of bullshit as a lot of what was getting dumped on her head. I mean, what are the biggest complaints about Disney era Star Wars? Top of the list for people that actually can get out of their low IQ takes is the disrespect of the legacy characters. That's the overall biggest complaint. You shit on Luke. You shit on Han. Kind of shit on Leia even too. Like you took the trilogy and treated them like crap. That was what really got us all going. I mean, it started off with them taking the EU and decanonizing it completely and making it Legends. I mean, that was their first move, and I remember when I saw that announced, I was like, what the fuck? Like, they should have, or at least Kathy should have, shit, I lost my fucking train of thought again. God damn it. Where was I? Oh, yeah. Killing the EU, stupid. Now, if Iger wasn't going to pay attention to the backlash, Kathy should have. And right then and there, she should have realized, maybe this ain't the way to go. Now, do I blame her for basically, I guess you could call it caving, you could call it pragmatic in terms of saving her job. Again, she could have satisfied Iger without going as hard into her other shit as she did. Like that was totally something she could have done, and she did not do that. So she is definitely not off the hook, in my mind. She could have done that. That would have been the biggest thing. She could have prevented her PR department or actors or directors from promoting their ideals more than the shows and the movies. She could have put the kibosh on all of that. She did not. So she is, she's not getting a pass in the basement. Not by a long shot. But if this shit is accurate, I am going to shift a lot of the blame for the state of Star Wars from her. Not all of it. Let me reiterate that. I'm going to continue to reiterate that. Not all of it. She is still responsible for a crap ton of bad decisions that she did not have to make, no matter what Iger desired. There were ways she could have appeased him and still given the fans, something much closer to George's stuff than what she decided to give us. Oh yes, we don't have there. Yeah, what was the exact phrase? Shit, but yeah, not having any reference material or whatever. Yeah, this is so difficult because we don't have any reference material, bitch. Yeah, see, that's all her. There's plenty of shit that she did all on her own. And I will still shit on her for that stuff. But on the, when it comes to how much shit she has gotten up to this point, I gotta quit looking at chat. I'm in the middle of a sentence. My glance is over. I read a chat and forget what the fuck I was saying. But yeah, she is still culpable for quite a bit of bad decisions. But it would appear a lot of the biggest ones, the most hated ones, and the ones that, if true, we just found out about that we also hate, it would appear those came from Robert Palpatine Iger. Yeah. If this is true, up is down, left is right, thick is thin, smart is dumb. Insanity, I say. Like, really, when it boils down to it, like, the bottom line is no matter who made what dumbass decision or who made more dumbass decisions, all that matters is all those dumbass decisions have put our beloved Star Wars in its worst spot it has ever been in it. Power of one, power of two, power above, and KK. Yeah, all that matters at the end is the fact that all these bad decisions from both Iger and KK have pretty much destroyed our franchise. It's at its lowest point. Oh, that's what I was going to. I just got to where I was. It's at its lowest point in its entire 48-year history. This is the worst it's been in terms of fan satisfaction, in terms of cultural significance. Like, it's in the shitter. And the next thing we get to look forward to from them, well, technically the next thing we get to look forward to from them is Vision Season 3. And a lot of that looks pretty cool. But the next live action thing we have to look forward to is Mando and Grogu. Well, Spider-Man's a lot more popular than Kylo Ren. He's the biggest, most popular comic book character on the planet. Fuck yeah, he's going to make a deal with Sony for him. There isn't an executive on the planet that wouldn't have. Yes, we do have them all showed, but that comes out after Mando and Grogu. Like, outside of Visions, I think Mando and Grogu is the next Star Wars project we're going to get. There's no more shows that are coming out the rest of the year or next spring that I'm aware of. Well, that works. Okay, there's a Lego movie thing that came out last month, I guess. Lego Star Wars Rebuild the Galaxy Pieces of the Past. I don't know. And then Visions this month. Season 2's next year, or late next year at this point. Maul Shadow Lord, I think next summer, but that's still after Mando and Grogu. Yeah, Mando and Grogu outside of Visions is the next Star Wars project that we're going to get. Why? Yeah, that is a good question right there. Why now, Adam Driver? That is a good question. Let me ponder that for a minute. He used one phrase. Now that it's over, I can talk about it. Now, ooh, that reminds me. Actually, now that it's over, I can talk about it. He said. Now, if you'll recall, when Josh was talking about this article specifically in his stream yesterday, he kept saying that Adam Driver was violating multiple NDAs and putting himself in a good position to get sued. Very possible. But here's the thing. Now that it's over, he said, that could have been the end. That could have been a limit on the NDA. Like, he might have been like dying to tell us. And if now that it's over means now that the NDA is over, then yeah, he's ready to fucking spill some tea. You know, he could have had this in the barrel for quite a while, and now he can let it out without fear of being sued by a ginormous fucking multinational corporation. Why didn't Marvel sell the rights to Sony in the first place? You mean, why did they? Because, yeah, they sold them. That was when they fucked up and printed way too many comics, and then no one bought them, and then they had to get money or die, and so they sold off the rights to all their popular characters and sold Spider-Man to Sony. Why did it take Disney to bring Spidey back rather than Marvel Studios after Iron Man, and they had money? Well, they didn't have that much money after Iron Man. Now, after Avengers, they had a shit ton of money because Disney didn't buy Marvel till I think 2015. Of course, they didn't have Disney money. Maybe it took Disney money and Disney clout. Matter of fact, that's probably what it is. Marvel Studios had cachet, but they didn't have Disney cachet. And Sony is still like Marvel Studios on its own, Sony is much larger than. They probably wouldn't have taken Marvel Studios on as its own entity as it was prior to 2015 seriously. But everybody takes Disney seriously. Corporations are very sizist. Yep. Here's a question. Why didn't Sony try and buy Marvel Studios before Disney did? I mean, they already had Marvel's most popular character. And Avengers came out in 2012. Disney didn't buy Marvel till 2015, if I recall correctly. Let me double check. Oh, I'm so wrong. Sony didn't have time to buy them. Oh, damn, they bought them that soon? Disney bought Marvel on December 31st, 2009. Okay, so what had Marvel Studios put out prior to that? You know, got me going down a rabbit hole, but I'm fine with that. That changes the whole conversation, me being stupid. Uh, no, Marvel. It's not Marvel Studios. Okay, so under straight Marvel Studios, only Iron Man and the Incredible Hulk had come out before Disney bought them. So yeah, Marvel Studios had no clout. No clout at all. No, Iron Man was the first MCU movie in 08. No, Marvel Studios was producing it, but Paramount was distributing it through at least the first Avengers before their distribution rights ran out, and it all became all Marvel Studios and Disney. No, everything in Phase One outside of Iron Man and the Incredible Hulk was under Disney. But they had contractual obligations distribution wise to Paramount that had to be honored, which is why the Paramount logo pops up in front of at least all of Phase One. I can't remember if it goes into Phase Two or not. But yeah. Bum, 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 bum. Yeah, that's so far as Star Wars goes, that's some nutty shit if it's true. And honestly, if you think about Bob Iger and his history, it's fairly believable. Most of it. Officially. Oh, okay. Like this is a serious question. Why is that relevant? I forgot. Like real, I'm not trying to be a douche. I like literally forgot why that's relevant. Are we talking about why it took Disney to bring Spidey back rather than Marvel Studios? Are we still on that one? Mostly because Marvel Studios as its own entity wasn't around long enough to on their own to do it themselves. They only had Iron Man and Incredible Hulk out prior to Disney getting them. Q2. Ah, oh man, I love you guys so much. Y'all are dope. You need a blinker. Maybe I need to stop. Anywho, but I think we were just upset with Disney in general. I mean, yeah, definitely. Especially if this shit's true. Like the stupidity, that means the stupidity literally goes all the way to the top. If this is true, that's exactly what that means. It means like shit rolls downhill. The stupid rolled downhill from the peak of the motherfucking mountain. Uh, thanks, bro. Uh, so yeah, that's pretty much what it boils down to. The stupid started at the top and never stopped, and now Star Wars is in the shitter. Marvel's been in the shitter, but they at least they're at least promising signs of a turnaround at Marvel. Whether they can actually pull it off, we will see. You know, I think they can. I think most of us think they can, but it's not guaranteed. We'll see how that goes, but at least there's signs there. I mean, I suppose you could consider Starfighter a sign for Star Wars. I mean, it might be a fun movie. It might even be a really good movie, but I don't know if that's what's going to start a Star Wars revival. It could. I personally don't think it's got that capability, but it could. Just in this guy's mind, the odds of Marvel turning it around, the odds of the signs we're seeing coming to fruition, the odds of that happening, I think, are much greater than Starfighter being the catalyst for a Star Wars comeback. I definitely refuse to believe Mando and Grogu would be that catalyst. Like, no. Like, see, Iger should have just waited, man. On top of it, just in general, being dumb to condense a season of a television show into a movie, you are. Oh no, you're good, man. But yeah, some of that probably is is what's going on with you. But no, it's all good. It's all good, man. Um, yes, Mando and Grogu. Rushing a movie out that is a condensed TV show just to get a movie in the theater as the first movie you're putting out in 6 years. I guess 5.5 because Rise was a December release, I think. Um, 5.5 to 6 years. The first film you're putting out, and it's a condensed down TV show. That is way, way, way too small of a movie to put out as your first movie in 5.5 to 6 years. So now you're doubling down on stupid. You're condensing a TV show into a movie, and you're taking that TV show come movie and putting it out as your first movie in 5.5 to 6 years. That's a whole lot of stupid. Warner Media, Netflix, and AT&T are your accounts for financial compliance. Well, C-Dub, if you ever see any numbers that would indicate movement of Netflix towards buying Warner Brothers, drop me a DM. I probably won't do anything with it, but I just want to know. I'm like that. Like I don't even want that information to make a video about it or anything. I just want to fucking know, bro. Actually, to be real, I want to use it for trolling fodder. trolling in some of my favorite streamers' chats. Yes, Josh is not the only one I watch. It'd be fun to sit there and pump all of their theories and then pull a my time on them and be like, nope, you're wrong. This is what it is. They won't believe me, which will make it even more fun. Yes, exactly. No, I'm not buying any stocks. I'm not using that information to manipulate anything. I just want to troll with it a little bit. No Martha Stewart shit going on over here. I don't even have any investments. I own no stocks. I own no bonds. Huge Souls Corporation. Do you know how little that narrows it? Oh yeah, that describes lots of them. Oh, you don't see that stuff with what you do? Damn. Yeah, not narrowing it down, I think, is the point. Oh, thank you, Brennan. I appreciate you. I appreciate all of you. I really, really do. Dang. Fucking hour and 45 minutes on one subject, for the most part. I mean, obviously, I digressed here and there, went down a couple rabbit holes, because that's how I roll. I mean, let's face it, Josh and I are pretty similar. We're both ADD, neurodivergent. We have mostly similar taste, except he's a pussy when it comes to horror. And I like it. I'm not big into anime. I liked zombies. and I thought Daredevil was not as bad as he thought. So, yeah, we have pretty similar taste and some similar brain shit and blinkers, but not identical. Do not always agree. Sometimes he gets a little too fucking bro. And I'm like, dude. Sometimes this dude bro gets a little out of control. But he never crosses any serious lines into, say, Melvin territory. Matter of fact, his fucking rant about Melvin not on the last Star Wars theory might even been 3 Star Wars theories ago now. And of course, Melvin's making all kinds of videos about that shit, streams. But yeah, Josh's rant about Darth Melvin was epic and also 100% accurate. Yeah. You guys have anything? Because I've reached the end of my ability to bullshit on this topic. I've run out. If I repeat myself anymore, even I'm gonna get annoyed. But it's your time now, chat. Anything you want to bring up doesn't have to be related to this. It can be other nerdy shit that I chose not to talk about. Again, on the off chance that my granddaughter decides to, finally make her fucking entrance. You have nothing. I'll watch how the Fantastic Four should have ended. What? What is this how the Fantastic Four should have ended stuff? Although if they do a good job, I might agree. I mean, I really, really, I thought the Fantastic Four was pretty fucking good. Not amazing. I didn't think it was amazing, but it was definitely top tier, like when Marvel was on form kind of movie. Oh, oh, that's it. Oh, how it should have ended. That totally makes sense that there's a channel called that. They have endless fodder for that channel. That's a really fucking smart idea, as long as they do it well. That's actually really fucking smart. God damn it. Yeah, Discord gets a little rowdy. That's for sure. I don't go into the Tower Discord much. I'd be way too tempted to start shitting on people, and I don't have time to get into all that. I've cut way back on that on Twitter too. You know what really makes it easy not to get into dumbass Twitter debates? Staying out of the comments. Because that's where the stupid really is. Wonder how many times I'm going to check that empty pop can before I remember it's fucking empty. Jesus Christ. Do, 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 do. Do, 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 do. All right, guys. I think I'm gonna get on out of here then. Get ready for hopefully get a phone call about that shit soon. Like I said, she was due last Friday. I mean, there are signs she's coming. I'm not going to get specific, but there are signs. So we're all hoping soon, and of course, especially Mom is hoping soon. She's ready. She is ready to have that baby on the outside. And I don't blame her. So, all right, y'all. I'm going to dip on out this bitch. I really, really appreciate you guys hanging out tonight and anytime you choose to. Because time is the most precious commodity we have. And the fact that you guys choose to spend time here is fucking amazing. Oh, thank you for dropping the Discord link, bro. Appreciate that. Yes, I have a Discord too. Click on it. We have fun stuff in there, especially the funny stuff channel, to which Spicy Dan is a frequent and appreciated contributor. Like, the shit he puts in there is truly funny. So thank you for that, Spicy Dan. Yeah. So if you have not yet done so, hit all the buttons. Hit the like. Everyone, hit the like. Everyone. But if you have not yet subscribed to this here channel, please hit that button and the notification bell. I would greatly appreciate it, and it would help this channel out a bit. But also, when you do that, do join the Discord, because frankly, Discord notifications are much more reliable than YouTube's. And unless I forget to, I always throw the stream link up in the Discord. And I've only forgotten to, I think, twice. Once in recent memory, and I can't remember for sure if there's been a second time, but I know me, so there probably was. Yeah. So, thank y'all for being here. Y'all are the dopest. Really appreciate you. Hope you had a good time tonight. It was a pretty good talk, I thought. I think, and it was fun, all at the same time. So, have a good rest of your week. Depending on baby arrival, we'll say for now we are going to do the season finale, Gen V season finale watch party tomorrow night. Don't be surprised if that gig gets canceled. We'll see how that goes, but for now we'll say yes. And again, pay attention to the Discord. That's where I announce everything. So if anything changes, I will let you all know. And then, as far as I know, we will be streaming regular on Saturday at 10 p.m. Eastern, because it's a weekend. And the analytics said starting at 10, I get better numbers. So we start at 10 on Saturday. All right, y'all. Have a good night. Maybe see you tomorrow. Almost for sure see you Saturday. Have a good rest of your week, or maybe tomorrow. And thanks for being here. Much love, y'all. Later. Oh, yeah. That was a pretty fucking good stream, I think, chat. What do you guys think? Gen V finale tomorrow night? As far as I know right now, yes. But, again, it also depends on when the granddaughter decides to make her appearance. So, as of right now, yes. Depending on granddaughter, consideration. So, but for now, we're going with it. We're going to try and get her done. If we can't tomorrow, just everyone, if you didn't already watch it today, if we can't do the watch party tomorrow night, we'll just watch it on our own and talk about it like Saturday or whatever. And yeah, by the way, everyone, Give C-Dub props. He fucking nailed it with his theory like weeks ago. So give C-Dub some love on that one. So have a good night tonight. Maybe see you tomorrow night. Probably going to see you on Saturday. Have a good rest of your week. And remember, wherever you're at and whoever you're with, always keep it nerdy. Peace. Agreed.